Today we are diving into a Reddit story that absolutely exploded online, and for some pretty intense reasons. It's a truly jaw-dropping story about love, deception, and a level of betrayal that honestly is hard to even wrap your head around. Let's get right into it. So here's the big question at the heart of all of this. How does a relationship that looks totally solid from the outside, I mean 3 years, talks of marriage, how does something like that just completely and totally fall apart? Well, let's go back to the beginning. Okay, so our story begins in a place that probably sounds familiar, a relationship that, on the surface, seemed, pretty much perfect. So, the guy who originally posted this, who we'll call the OP, he sets the scene. They've been together for 3 years. He's not just thinking about the future, he's actively saving up for an engagement ring. So, right from the get go, you can feel how high the stakes are for him. And then you get that little red flag. Her phone starts lighting up with messages every single night right around 2 in the morning. She says it's just work stuff, but, at 2 a.m., that little bit of doubt starts to creep in, and it pushes him to do something he'd never done before. He decided to check her phone. And what he found? Wow. It wasn't just a simple case of cheating. It was so much bigger, so much more tangled, and, frankly, devastating than he ever could have imagined. Now, hang on a second, because I know what you might be thinking. This story sounds way too insane to actually be true. And honestly, a lot of people on Reddit thought the same thing. It was so out there that the site's moderators actually had to step in and investigate. And boom, here it is, their official verification. The mods looked at screenshots, messages, all of it, to confirm what happened. So just know, as wild as this gets, this isn't just some made-up internet story. This was horrifyingly real. He wasn't looking at messages from one other person. He found evidence that she was involved with four different men. And this is what takes the betrayal to a whole other level. The identities of the 4 men. It was his best friend, the one he'd known since he was a kid. It was her boss. It was their neighbor from just down the hall. And it was the friend she had always insisted was gay. Just a complete web of lies touching every single part of their life. And get this. The timeline is the real gut punch. This whole thing had been going on for 8 months. And during those 8 months, he was working double shifts, killing himself at work to save money for an engagement ring, to save for their future. So with this just soul-crushing discovery, there was really only one thing left for him to do. He had to confront her. But he didn't get tears. He didn't get apologies or denials. He got a laugh. She actually laughed in his face. And then she said, "Took you long enough to figure it out." Just zero remorse. None. And this really shows you how they were living on 2 completely different planets. Her reason for blowing up their entire life together? She said she was bored, that he was too predictable. And his reality? He was building a stable, loving foundation for the rest of their lives. The disconnect is just staggering. And as if that wasn't enough, he gets a text from his former best friend. And all it said was, "It wasn't personal." That's it. For a lifelong friendship. Just, it wasn't personal. So the OP, he packed his stuff and left that same night. But this isn't just a story about getting destroyed by betrayal. It's also a story about recovery. This next part is all about how he started to rebuild. And you have to give him credit. He took immediate and decisive action. He was gone that night. Within a single week, he had moved to a new city. By week 2, he had blocked every single person involved. And by week 3, he was in therapy to start processing it all. He didn't wallow, he took back control of his life. So 2 months go by. He's in his new city, he's starting to heal. And then the story takes one final dramatic turn. He gets a call from a number he doesn't recognize. And who is it? It's her. But let me tell you, her whole vibe is completely different now. She's crying, saying she made a huge mistake. And why? Because, as it turns out, her life had completely imploded. Her boss fired her almost immediately. The other guys, once the thrill was gone, they all ghosted her. She was left with nothing. So while he was healing and moving on in a new city, she was totally alone and finally facing the consequences of her actions. And then she has the actual audacity to ask him, "Can we work things out?" And in this perfect, full circle moment of closure,
He does exactly what she did to him. He just laughed, and then he hung up.
Of course, as you can probably guess, the Reddit community had a lot of thoughts about this absolute roller coaster of a story. This comment here from user Black Mamba underscore 1992 really captures what just about everyone was feeling. People were just floored by how fast and how hard karma came for her. It wasn't slow. It was immediate and decisive. And this user, Hashin Shinobi1, kind of nailed the psychology of it. They pointed out that none of those four guys were ever serious about her. They liked the thrill of being the side guy with no strings attached. The second she was actually single and available, they were gone. And all of this leaves us with one final thought. Look, a story like this is undeniably gripping. It's got drama, betrayal, a satisfying ending. It's like a movie, but it's also a story about profound real-world pain. And it makes you wonder, as we all scroll through these viral stories, how do we balance our fascination with the drama against remembering that there is a very real, very hurt human being at the center of it all?